opportunities and growth does not happen in a linear fashion. You could propel yourself forward at twice the speed of someone else's growth if you were to find the momentum. And that momentum can be found in whichever way and angles that you want to take it from. So you could go in circle and then back in a way that it becomes like an arrow, and then it launches you forward because you were able to orchestrate your growth in a way that by doing a return to a return to a past memory, past value, a past version of you, being the person that you are now, which has more knowledge and experiences of the world. By doing a return, you're not only piecing together all the information, the segmentized pieces of knowledge that were isolated due to fear, doubt, and so on of those period of time when you were growing up or in your younger years. We're all plagued by insecurities and doubts and whatnot. And because of those emotions, they isolate parts of ourselves. But because when you move forward in time and you reach a certain age where you've gained maturity and wisdom, and then you do return to the past, metaphorically, right? You do that in your mind, and then you visit things that you once cherished or loved. It could be a song, it could be a place, it could be an activity, a hobby. When you do those things and then you bring it forward to the present, then suddenly you gain speed. What people seem to believe to be idleness was just gestation, something that was cooking for some time, and then that cooking reaches a point where the meal has been cooked, or the meat has been cooked, and so you lift the lid, and then you can smell the flavor, and it reaches you on every level because you went back in time to dig for those little gems that perhaps you buried deep down inside you because of shame or whatsoever. These facets of you makes you the strength of who you are today. So by doing that, you're able to kick up on speed and therefore launch yourself forward. And that's one way of growing. And that's my way of growing, which is always doing a full circle. And this is something I've realized recently, because people like myself, we could often forget. And when you forget, being forgetful is a blessing and a gift as well. As you can forget failures, you can also forget who you are. But forgetting too much of who you are will lead you to a dead end. You could get lost. When you forget all of you, you get lost. But if you remember some and you lose some, you're able to move forward regardless of criticism, regardless of limitations, regardless of what people or you yourself believe yourself capable of. You let go of that, and then you move forward, and then you do a return to a gift or a strong moment from the past. Okay, you compile that to everything else that you've gained. Okay, so as Bruce Lee said, take what is useful and discard what is not, and make it your own. Okay, so you just keep accumulating. You go a return to the past, you take some of that too, and you go back to the present. Okay, it's a constant shift of back and forth, present and past, and then boom towards the future, and then again present with past, and then launch towards another future. That's how you become aware of how you progress energetically. Okay, so we all move with a certain rhythm, a certain pace, and by understanding those pace, you know what's ahead. Okay, that's the foresight. So if you're a certain shape that moves one square to the next, one to two to three, and then you tend to fall back to square one, that's not failure, that's not a drawback, that's just your pattern of movement, right? Some people just move forward like an arrow, and that's just how they work. My energy moves in circle, right? It does like little loops of this. And when you're climbing the curve, obviously it's always a lot of grind, but I'm just the type of person who's used to that grind. So you go up the grind, reach the tip, that's when it starts to pick up momentum, and then you just slide down. And that's the fun part, okay? Because change just happens so quick, and then you're experiencing them all, and you're harvesting all the things you've worked for, and then you have to climb again. This path is one that requires you to get out of your comfort zone all the time. They always have to be out of their comfort zone. It's not for everyone, but this is one way of doing it. This is one way, and this is my way. I believe that there are some out there who are interested in this type of reflection, but not everyone is, and that's fine. So it's totally fine. My type of personality isn't for all to digest. Not everyone's cup of tea, and that should be okay. As long as I'm my own cup of tea, and I'm able to share that with someone else who is on the same wavelength, vibrates the same frequency, then that creates magic as connection of isolated information. It gives birth to something that does not exist. That's the beauty of connection. Okay, so this was the thinker feeler, and then there's the middle part. Okay, so there's a bridge between those two, and the bridge is the most important part, not the thinking nor the feeling part, the bridge.